Hey, what is up you guys? You're watching Team APS. I'm with Trell today, and in today's video we thought something that would be really interesting is to talk about the worst cards from the best decks. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, basically what you'll notice about top tier decks in general is they're usually, it's an archetype of monsters that all work really well together. They all have really good effects, but there's always like one or two support cards that just don't get played.
You're like, why in the hell do they make these cards?
It's actually kind of laughable. They make those cards like how they make the bad archetypes cards. Yeah. So, kicking it off, we've got Shaddoll Hound.
Yes, Shaddoll Hound. And I'm going to read the effect to you guys. First off, of course, you already know it's a dark level 4 spellcaster. Flip effect. You can target one Shaddoll card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Kind of lackluster.
Alright.
Then we got, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, because that's what all Shaddolls do, you can target one monster on the field, change its battle position. Flip monster effects are not activated at this time, except Shaddoll monsters. You can only use one Shaddoll Hound effect per turn, and only once that turn.
So you're a Shaddoll player. Why was this not played?
One, because there wasn't really any Shaddoll card in the grave that, first off, with the flip effect, it wasn't any Shaddoll card in the grave that you need to add back. Plus, the greatest thing about Shaddolls was their disruption factor. If you're playing flip effects, you got a Shaddoll Beast that lets you draw. You got a Shaddoll Squamata that pops monsters. You got a Dragon that returns things. So the flip effect has to be something that actually gives us a plus. And adding something to my hand from the graveyard doesn't really do much for me. I mean, I could reuse it again.
Recycling feels kind of like it's not proactive. Because the Shaddoll, like the fusion monsters, already did it.
They do it all for you, exactly. And as far as the part about being sent to the graveyard and changing the battle position, who cares? I mean, once again, lackluster. It just doesn't do anything for the game at all. Of course, you could send it something. You can send it to the grave and flip up a Shaddoll monster, but we also had Sinister Shadow game, so that kind of defeats the purpose.
Which literally did the job better.
Which did the job
on a bigger
better.
scale.
Exactly. So it's just one of those things where like we gave you a monster that could possibly do something that this card did, but why would you use that?
Wasn't it also a common?
It was a common. Then also came a super, like in I think was it the special edition or whatever? Yeah, it was something like that. But yeah, it was a. It should have been
minus 10 points for being a common.
No, minus 10 for being a super because you got it. You didn't want that shit. So
yeah, that too. So I'm gonna actually jump to something a little bit more recent for the next one, and that's Zodiac's Sign.
Oh yeah.
So what's interesting about Zodiacs is people complain about them. They say they're crazy and overpowered, but Zodiac's Sign is their field spell, and in this world where there's so many field spells for so many archetypes, I actually thought it was really strange that the Zodiac field spell in particular just isn't good.
It was ass. I mean, I feel like they did it on purpose. Like, we're gonna give you this gray set, but we'll give you one ass card so you don't feel like we're totally broken.
All Zodiac monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target face-up Beast Warrior type monsters you control for attacks, except the one with the highest attack. Once per turn, if a Zodiac monster you control will be destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy one monster in your hand or field instead of one Zodiac monster.
Just bad all around.
Yeah, it just doesn't
go ahead.
progress the strategy at all. It's just like a sort of okay defensive card. Like
they gave us this card, knowing, like especially the targeting part. They gave us this card with the targeting part, knowing that we got Hammer Kong coming out. Hammer Kong does the job 10 times better. Then there's also there's also the fact of stopping destruction by blowing up the monster. Well, you would think that the whole point of you stopping destruction is so that you didn't lose your monsters, but instead you can blow up a monster to stop the destruction. It kind of defeats the purpose. That's why everybody's running my body as a shield.
Yeah, and I mean also it's just like field spells. If it's not like a diagram, or like a magical meltdown, something that's like getting you searches and like
giving you something from
pushing you forward, it's just not worth it. And I mean the 300 attack and defense is cool, but like usually Zodiacs aren't. It's not really their stats that are the important thing about them.
At all.
I mean, Whiptail is going to be under Dryden anyway, so swinging over it, it's not going to really happen.
Whatever.
Or you're gonna banish. It's kind of weird because even the card I thought wouldn't be great, Zodiac Combo, is still actually usable in the deck, you know? But it just happens the field spell's kind of trashy.
Kind of trashy. Kind of isn't even word. It's horrible. I do feel like Konami did that on purpose. Like they gave us this one bad card. One for the people that want to play budget and just decide to have fun, and it's two so that not everyone can.
This doesn't have anything to do with what Zodiacs do. It doesn't have anything to do with the Xyz monsters.
It's not one of those cards that you draw and you're like, holy shit, this is about to change the game for my Zodiac field.
Yeah.
So.
You get the next one.
All right, so next I'm about to go for another blast in the past. Not too far in the past, but it's not as recent as his Zodiac sign. Mine is Necros of Sophia. And I'm not gonna lie, I was one person that was excited about this card coming out, not for the effect, but just because it was pretty.
Shout out to Shred. Please come back.
R.I.P. But anyway, the effect of this is you can ritual summon this card with any Necros ritual spell card. Duh. Must be ritual summoned from your hand by using 3 monsters you control with different types and cannot be special summoned by other ways. During either player's main phase 1, you can discard this card and 1 Necros spell card. Your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck during this phase. When this card is ritual summoned, you can banish all of the cards on the field and in the graveyards. You cannot normal summon set or special summon other monsters to turn you activate this effect.
Let's break it down sentence by sentence. There's so many things wrong with this.
First things first, okay. Must be ritual summoned from your hand by using 3 monsters you control with different types and cannot be special summoned by other ways.
Okay, what is with all of this, like, must be summoned from the hand, three monsters must be 3.
Different types.
Why do they have to be different types? Like, I just don't understand, like, what the...
Now, granted, I get that when she is summoned, she's a field clear. But if you,
we'll get to that. Yeah, there's some problems with that too.
Exactly, we'll get to that. But I mean, there's
so
just
so
much
mean
minus.
You can't use the one that sends from the extra deck to summon her.
Hey.
Like you're not allowed because they have to be that you control.
Must be. You have to remember, so it must be rich something. Yeah. So
really.
There you go. These mandatories. You know what I mean?
Next sentence.
Next, we got during the player's main phase 1. You can discard this card and 1 Necros spell card. Your opponent cannot spell summon monsters from the extra deck during this phase.
Why couldn't they like? I mean, for being the big boss monster, why is it like only that phase?
That phase. So not that turn. So in other words, I can go to main. I can do main phase 1. You're gonna activate the effect. I go battle phase, main phase 2. Shit on your face. Like I mean.
Also, like I mean, why? You know, all the other Necros just kind of get to pitch themselves.
Yeah.
She has to like pitch herself.
She's got a minus and a spell card, a Necros spell card. So she's got a minus you just to stop you for that phase. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm just like, man, I'm like, yeah.
And then what else does she do?
All right, so you know, they try to make it better. Try. When this card is ritual summon, like you're ever gonna fucking do that, you can banish all of the cards on the field and in the graveyards, which is also bad too, because if you think about it, Necros need their spell cards in the grave to banish themselves to search.
Why is it all other cards? Like, could it not just be like everything but Necros monsters or? She's supposed to be the big boss lady.
She's supposed to help you out.
But she banishes all of your spells and monsters from your grave, so you'll never get to use anything's effect again.
So she's the end all be all. Let's not forget, let's say her effect gets negated. You just wasted all the spell card, all these monsters. You just wasted a lot of resources to bring out this big boss and your effect gets negated.
And then last but not least, what is it? You don't get to normal or special
summon anything else? You cannot
normal
summon, set, or special summon other monsters to turn you active to this effect. Like, not for the rest of the turn, just in general. So if you do any other summoning, you can't bring her out. Even if you possibly have the chance to even do so.
It's like, I get the idea that, you know, she's supposed to be hard to summon, but I don't know why she also has to be so restrictive. When she comes out, it's like still not worth it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I brought her out, I'm banishing stuff, but you also minus yourself. So, and it's not like Necros had a big hand. They can generate big hands, but a lot of times they don't. They do so well working from the graveyard, but you just banish your whole entire graveyard.
3,600.
Her attack is 3,600, which makes her stats are great. But her summoning is, I mean, 3,600 for the game, I think nowadays is great.
It's big, but it's just like, didn't they have
They've got what's his name? Decisive Armor.
Yeah, Decisive Armor.
He's 3,300. He's much easier to summon.
Yeah, it's like diminishing returns. Like, why waste all this for her when you've got like nearly the same attack power?
Right, Val
36, 33, like whatever.
You coming in big either way it goes. So she's just not worth. Like I said, I just wanted her because she was pretty.
Yeah, she was nice to pull.
She was very pretty. She was nice to pull. I mean,
speaking of big boss monsters, I've got one that's another recent one. Metaltron the 12th, the true Combatant.
Right.
So true Dracos are a really strong top tier deck. We all hate Masterpiece. We all hate Dynamite Knight. This guy though, he's 3,000, 3,000. So he's a little bigger than Masterpiece. He's thick, but requires 3 tributes to normal summon. Can't be normal set. And you can also tribute, you know, continuous spells and traps as well as monsters. It's unaffected by the effects of cards with the same card type as what you tributed for it. So far it seems pretty good. It's like Masterpiece. If this tribute summon monster in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon a fusion, synchro, or Xyz monster that's wind, water, fire, or earth from your extra deck. Okay, so it's not like as bad as some cards, but it's just like Masterpiece just is better.
It's better.
2 tributes and
2 tributes, spot removal.
Spot removal, quick effect spot removal.
It could be a quick effect spot removal, unaffected by things. My gripe with this, 3 tributes.
Yeah.
Also, it has to. My biggest gripe, because I like this card at first. That's how bad of a player I am. My biggest gripe with it is the fact that it takes this tribute summon monster has to be destroyed by opponent's card effects or anything.
Yeah, to really pay for itself.
So I'm already 3,000, possibly plus if I've got diagram and I'm not affected by spell. I'm not unaffected by spells. I'm unaffected by whatever I'm tribute for. So you found a way to get around me. But I only float if I'm destroyed by my opponent. Like this card would be so much better if it could be blown up from the hand with diagram. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, it's almost like a contradiction where it's like this is unaffected by everything, so how's it gonna die? And when it dies, it can do some cool stuff.
Unaffected, but if I die, I do other things. But I'm not gonna die because I'm unaffected.
Not impressed.
Not.
What's yours?
And then mine is another. And this is probably I don't know. I feel like this is like the worst one on the list.
It's close.
It's but new players once I tell you what it is, y'all gonna know too. Like everybody's gonna like, oh, that card is ass. But anyway, my card is Malakota, Netherlord of the Burning Abyss. Some people don't even know what this card is. That's how bad it is. Like they didn't even take a second look at this card.
I kind of was interested in it at first.
Whose man's is this?
But it's really bad. What's it do? It's got some effects.
I got you, dog. Check it out. Of course, it's a ritual monster for Burning Abyss. Like they totally need a ritual, which I understand they want to complete the circle, but they didn't need a fucking ritual monster. Anyway, you can ritual summon this card with good and evil in the Burning Abyss, which is actually a pretty decent card at this time. Must be ritual summoned and cannot be spelled summoned by other ways. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can send one Burning Abyss monster from your hand to the graveyard. Then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Until the end of this turn, that target loses attack and defense equal to the attack and defense of the Burning Abyss monster sent to the graveyard this way. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one card on the field, send it to the graveyard. Stats are 2,700 attack, 2,200 defense, 6 stars.
Ugh, so many problems.
So
first of all, even in a deck as good as Burning Abyss, ritual summoning is just not practical.
That's just that's like a loss of a lot of resources.
It's just easier to make like Dante's and Virgil's.
So much easier.
And I mean
and big booty Beetlejuice.
Good for him having like decent attack stats. Yeah. But it's like better than the other Burning Abyss monsters, so that's nice. But like the effect isn't great, right?
Like you're pitching off a monster to decrease your opponent's attack and defense. Now granted, one can say this isn't horrible because you can do it during damage step. But let's be honest, there are no big fucking Burning Abyss monsters.
Yeah, the biggest one is Skarm's gonna do 800.
Yeah, and a lot of times, and the thing is, a lot of times you want to pitch off a Skarm or like a Seer, or a Graph, and the way most
kind of like eh.
Yeah, and even then, like first off, everything being limited, you don't have options to get all those. A lot of people have Skarms for days.
Yeah.
Especially now, there's not many Seers and Graphs, but people have Skarms for days. Your opponent losing 800 attack on a monster is not that great. Even back then, it wasn't that great. So
I think that if nothing else, just the ritual component makes it so hard to use.
Yeah, and also you got to think about this card. There's other part of the effect that says if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, target one card in the field and send it to the graveyard. At the time that this came out,
it's cool.
Well, no, actually it was bad if you think about it. At the time that it
targeting
came out,
wasn't the best.
Targeting was horrible. We had Cleaves, which couldn't go to the graveyard. We also had Shaddolls that wanted to go to the graveyard.
Yeah, so it's just not going to cut it.
This card at that time was like the worst thing. Oh, send something to the graveyard. Thank you, I'll get a free plus. I mean, it's not any better now, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't worth it for its time, like, at all.
Yeah. Mine is Cosmo card. So Cosmo is another really good archetype. They do a lot of crazy fun stuff. And even some of their cards like Sword Troopers and Landwalker have actually seen play in some niche builds. But this card, Cosmo Light Sword. So cool, completes the whole sort of Star Wars-y theme. Equip only to a psychic type Cosmo monster. Gains 500 attack and defense, and it can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. If it attacks a defense monster, it pierces. If this card is sent from the field to the grave, you can pay 800 and add it to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, this is one of those cards where it's like a contradiction.
Yeah.
The pilots aren't the attackers. They don't, like, okay, I get equipping this to Farm Girl, because she, had an effect about attacking and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's really the only thing
She's the only one that mattered.
And she ended up getting crept out of the deck anyway, so.
Put her at 1 because she wasn't that important anymore.
So it's just kind of like, it just seems like a contradiction. I just don't see, like, where Cosmos get use out of this. And I mean, like, 2 attacks is only good with her. 500 extra attack and defense isn't really anything special. Recycling this is great, except the card itself isn't good, so.
I mean, why would you recycle this? I mean, you have so many you have these better monsters, but I'm going to recycle this equipped spell that doesn't do much but give me 2 attacks. Like,
yeah.
Who cares?
I mean, you consider how strong the ships are. Like, they do so much of your work, and like in terms of pushing.
Yeah, for damage or resources. Yeah. I mean, that's my thing too. Is like this doesn't do anything for you. I mean, 2 attacks is fine, but I'm putting out big ships out there. If they die, they float, and I bring them right back out. I mean, there's just no point in this card ever.
What's your last one?
My last one's like it's actually it's a combo deal. It's a 2-piece from Wendy's because they do 2 pieces. I'm just letting you know. But or more like actually more like a 2-piece from Popeyes.
Yeah, because like Wendy's is like the 4 for 4, don't they?
Yeah.
Sounds more. It's more.
I guess yeah.
What's our card?
It's a 2-piece from Popeyes with a biscuit and nothing to drink. So just let you know. Anyway, we got Trell and I Capella and Trell and I Beetlejuice or Beetlejuice, however you want to say it. So Capella, first thing you already know, all the Tells are 4 stars, blah blah blah. If this card is summoned, you can apply this effect below for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. But if it resolves, you can apply this effect multiple times. You can treat level 4 or lower Trell and I monster you control as level 5 when exceeds something using 3 or more monsters as exceeds material.
That's so tedious.
I mean, you don't care.
That doesn't matter.
It does not. When you're ranking up, you got Diamond, you got what's his name, Battlemaze or whatever.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know why they would need that.
You don't. I guess this is your hard way of actually making Diamond as opposed to overlaying. But why would you ever do it hard when you can just overlay on a fucking Trigger? Like
yeah.
And not to mention the stats were ass. 1100, 2000. And then our other one is Beetlejuice. 700 attack, 1900 defense. If this card is summoned, you can target one Trell and I card in your graveyard, except a Beetlejuice or Beetlejuice. Send this Beetlejuice to the graveyard, and if you do, add that target to your hand. And you can only use this effect once per turn.
So like, why is this thing just like worse, like Warrior Returning Alive?
Basically, it's like I'm gonna summon this, target this, I'm gonna die to put this in hand. So there's no field advantage. I mean,
nothing comes of it.
Nothing, and you don't want to waste a Call to Hunter or something on it because it doesn't get you anything.
It's also weird because it's like they made Deneba plus, they made like Altera plus.
Why? Localizer plus, yeah.
Yeah, like why isn't this like just target one in your grave and add to your hand? They could have given it pissy stats if they wanted to.
And then it has to kill itself.
Yeah, I just don't understand that.
So you lose a body.
Why are you negging?
Right, and then to go back to the Capella, it's pretty much the same thing as that. Every Trell Knight that you would want to play gives you a plus. This says that if you would exceed summon, you can make all of them level 5 instead of level 4. But who cares? Because I mean, if this is the only monster that you have on the field, it doesn't do anything anyway. Like every monster you summon has a plus. Deneb plus, Anokalai plus, Altair plus, Vega plus. And then you got this guy. Oh, I'm going to normal summon Capella for my turn, and that's really about it. I'm not going to do anything else.
Not impressed. I've got the last one, and it's a card for Cleafort.
What you got for it?
And it kind of saw some play, but it's Cleafort's Cephalopod. It's got all the typical Clee things in the scale. You can only special summon Clees, and you know, make sure your opponent's monsters lose some attack and summon it attributing. But basically, when this card's tribute summoned by tributing a Clee monster, if your opponent has more monsters in their grave than you do, you gain life points equal to the difference times 300 and inflict the same to your opponent. It's just kind of like off theme.
Yeah.
That's all. Like that's my only real gripe with it. Like of the cards in this list, I mean, at least it can be used in a Cleafort deck.
Yeah, actually,
as a name.
Yeah, pretty much as a name.
But that's about it.
Yeah, nothing else. Okay. It just does not fit the theme of what Cleaves were trying to do. Cleaves were all about field disruption and just putting out big monsters that could not be fucked with, and
that's really it.
Does nothing.
So, those are cards that kind of sucked.
If you have any others that you guys think we might have missed, please tell us down below in the comments.
It's funny how the best decks in the game still aren't immune to the Konami shit show.
Basically.
So, yeah, hope you guys liked it. What other top tier decks have just some really bad cards? Let us know. We'd love to hear it. And thumbs if you like the video, subs if you love the video. I think it's gonna be it.
That's it.
Catch you guys in the next one.
Hope to see you in that.
Bye guys.
Peace.